Okay, welcome to another vintage league here. We are today playing Bazaar featuring the new Aetherdrift card Monument to Endurance. So, I guess let's go over how the deck works quickly first, then we'll get to Monument to Endurance. So, the deck is based around two cards. One, Bazaar of Baghdad, very strong card in vintage, where you draw two cards and discard three cards. It's also built around Psychic Frog, which lets you discard cards to give it counters. And a number of cards that play well with those synergies. The first one, and the new one from the Aetherdrift set here, is Monument to Endurance. This is when you discard a card, you can draw a card, create a treasure token, or each opponent loses 3 life. And that's this turn, so you can do that on this turn, and you can your opponent's turn and do it too. So let's say you've got 2 cards in hand and Frog. You can discard one to make them lose 3, go to their turn, discard one again, make them lose 3. And with Bazaar, when you discard 3 cards, you get all 3 of these, which is pretty cool. Right away you get a treasure, you draw another card, each opponent loses 3 life. So we're trying to pull that off in this league here. There's other cards with nice synergies here. If you discard 3 cards with Bazaar of Baghdad, Hollow One is free. So if you go turn 1, tap Bazaar, discard 3 cards, you can play Hollow One for free, which is very cool. Vengefine you can put into your graveyard and then bring it back by playing 2 creatures. So discard it with Frog or discard it with Bazaar, and then you play some 2 creatures the same turn. It comes back. Similar idea with Hogak, you discard it and then you can play it from your graveyard. Master of Death's a nice one. You put it into the graveyard with Bazaar or Frog, and then it comes back on your next turn. So it turns, one of these turns Bazaar from card disadvantage to just a looter, and if you find 2 of them, Bazaar actually becomes card advantage, because you keep putting these 2 into your hand every turn, then you draw 2, discard 3, so you net +1 if you have 2 of these, which is pretty cool. But the first one is already nice, and it can also pitch to grief. Basking Root Wall helps us cast our Vengefines and bring in Hogaks. So when you discard this with Frog or Bazaar, you pay it. You play it for free with its Madness cost. So let's say you discard 3 cards. One is Vengefine and one is Basking Root Wall. That's your first creature, which you play for free. And then you could say pitch cast a Grief from your hand as the second creature, or play a Hollow One as your second creature there. So that's good. Covered that. We have the Grief Scam package here, which is quite strong in our protection here, and it also helps to bring back Vengevines and Hogaks. Time Walk Recall, don't really need an introduction. Deathrite Shaman to ramp us. Provide some color fixing and damage. We have a mixed mana base here of some, regular Mox and Lotus and a bunch of real lands, plus the Bazaars and these 2 to turn Bazaar into a mana producing land if we need it. We've got a full mana base here. We've got 16 lands that actually produce mana, plus 3 Mox and a Lotus and 4 Deathrite Shamans. We're actually playing quite a bit of lands in this deck. We wouldn't play much more without the Bazaar side of things here. Nullrod and Collector Ooth for PO combos like Jewel and Lyris PO. Assassin's Trophy can come into some various decks. It's a Destroy Catch-All, Leyline for other Bazaar decks, and Mindbreak Trap for a few things we need to interact quickly. Alright, let's get into the league on this one and see how it goes. If you have any comments or suggestions, please put them below. Like if you want to, that's great. And thanks. See you in round 1.
Alright, we've got the next match here, and we're on the play. Yeah, I think this is fine, so we'll keep. be nice to find a reanimate, or probably the best thing we could find. No, that's not good. I think we could, in theory, hardcast the grief next turn. Doesn't seem terrible. It's PO. And we can't actually cast it because we need the cradle down. Alright. That is not a bad one. So we can pitch. We don't have a black card for. We can pitch the grief and reanimate it. So we can pitch the Walla, the grief, and I guess the cradle. And we can grief them and then bring back Hogak if this resolves. They forced the first one, so let's see if they force the second one here. Brainstorm. They're going to try and force it, which would be great for us, to be honest. What do they got? Ancestral Recall, 4th Orlingus Jet. So they can 4th here. I think the recall is still stronger though. The recall is scary. So, recall. Cast. Green. Black. Cancel. You still want blockers. Black, green. All right, let's see what they do here. Surprised they didn't hide the recall with the brainstorm. Interesting. Alright, so we're up against, looks like the Unlucky Monkey version of Luris PO. I think on the draws the monuments are too slow. Don't hate the traps on the draw either. Want the blue cards. 4 or 5. We're pretty light on black. I mean, black cards. I mean, 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 1. We could cut 1 Master of Death. I want to cut Vengevine. I feel like Vengevine's just not what we want to do here. We could bring them back in on the play, maybe. Be aggressive. But on the draw, I think we need the traps. We need 1 more cut. 1 more cut. I guess we don't need all of these Wallas if we're not going to be trying to trigger the Vengevine. So we could bring back the Master of Death there. I guess we don't need the Wallas at all. They don't really do much. We could bring in 1 of these Endurances. And do they have anything we want a trophy? Maybe just the pressure. Let's do 2 Endurances. It's kind of an engine. The Endurances are sketchy. I will readily admit that. They might be bringing in Graveyard Hit against us too, which I think is, I didn't mention it. Part of the reason I was thinking taking out the Vengevines there. We still have the Hogak in the deck, but I think that's okay, especially in the pitches to Grief there. Our opponent is deciding if they want to reveal Luris, so I guess they don't have Leyline of the Void. I don't think it gives them... I don't think you get the option then if you can't even have it in your sideboard. They mulligan to 6. I like our hand if we can draw any mana. And we have traps, so I think we do keep this. It is sketchy, obviously, but we've got quite a bit of mana in the deck. 20 and 2 turns to draw it, so and we've got the trap, so I think it's worth it. Now that they're mulling to 5, if we just dirtle here and they can get out of this. So I'm not thrilled about my keep now on a mull to 5, but I guess that mulling to 5 is also not the worst thing in the world. And please play a bunch of Moxen. 1 spell. 2 spells. Okay, 1 more. 1 more. 1 more. Alright, sure. Trap. What you got? Okay, well, that went about as I've never had to do this before. Let's see if I screw this up. You cast by paying 0, choose any number of spells. Just recall. Done. So we didn't win this yet, obviously, but that is a good start. Alright, well, we did win this. Okay. I understand the sentiment there. All right. on to the next match. Alright, back for another match. We're on the draw. But we got the scam turn 1, so we're going to keep it. But no lures. That does mean we could get something very bad could happen on turn 1. But we will see. Island Preordain. So that's Doomsday, I guess. Probably Doomsday, so that is scary, for sure. That's an interesting one. Assuming this is Doomsday, I don't think we need the Hogak. We might need the second Grief, though, so let's start with this. Dig through time. Force of Will, Dark Ritual, it's Doomsday. What did they do? Was it top 1, bottoms? They don't know their next card. They kept one of these. This is tough. Tempted to go Force of Will, reanimate it, get we can probably get all 3 blue cards if we want to. We just take a blue card and try and reanimate it. We do probably want the Grief on board. That is a tough one. They have plenty of mana. Maybe it is to take the Dark Ritual and then try and reanimate it and see what they pitch. You have the other Grief coming. I think I'm talking myself into that. This could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if you think I should have taken a different one. I was very unsure of this. Preordain, consider, Dark Ritual, dig through time. So 4, 5, 6, 7. That dig through time is scary. Can they cast it next turn though? So they have 4 in the graveyard, 5 with the fetch, 2 more. No. I just want to take the preordain. 5, 6. But then they can definitely dig through time, so I guess I have to take the dig through time. Does not feel good, but I think we do have to do that. Maybe I should have griefed. Actually, I wasn't really considering that. Maybe I should have just griefed again. I think they're considering here, I guess. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not thrilled with how I played that, I'll be honest. Now they're going to consider. They like that one. Dark Ritual Doomsday? No, Preordain. Okay, so they've got Dark Ritual in hand and other stuff. Let's see what they do. 2 top, 0 bottom. That's a scary one. Alright, let's just try and time walk, I guess. Ideally, we find another blue card, another black card, I mean. That's pretty good. Let's try that. Dark Ritual, Demonic Consultation, Street Wraith. Let's take Demonic Consultation. Street Wraith. Demonic Tutor, okay. Recall. So we could just be dead next turn now, for sure. Mox. Yeah, definitely could be dead here. We got Dark Ritual and 3 unknowns. Are we dead? Time Walk. Doomsday? Doomsday. No. If they keep it on top, we're probably dead. No, that's not. So we know they've got a Dark Ritual in hand. Let's see what else they got. Are we dead? Ponder. Short. Okay, I think we got lucky there, but I will take it. I think one collector oof is fine. They do have artifacts and stuff. And the Mindbreak Trap, I like. Monument's too slow. I think I do like the Vengevines here. Being able to pressure their life total is nice. Leyline Trophy. They might bring in they might be bringing in what's it called again? Graveyard Hate stuff. If they're bringing in Graveyard Hate stuff, what do I not want to see? Thinking maybe trim. The Vengevines we can hardcast. I think trimming a little bit of graveyard stuff's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, they might be seeing some graveyard hate, but we're going to try and lean on Deathrite Shaman, Psychic, Frogs, Hollow Ones then, and Griefs, and we can hardcast a lot of this stuff. That is not ideal, but I think it's a keep. And we just kind of hope they just go all in. Or they at least play a fetch. And I played a fetch, so there we go. Are they going to force a will my Deathrite Shaman? No. Maybe this wasn't a keep. Starting to talk myself out of it. Maybe that was a mulligan into something more aggressive, but please play Dark Ritual Doomsday. They're thinking about it. Nope, they're playing around Trap. And just gonna discard, I guess. Actually discarding the Doomsday. They have too many Doomsdays, okay. Next turn we can actually, if we get the next turn, we can hold open 4 blue. I think I am going to eat. Is it lagging really badly or is it just frozen? Because next turn, if we got the underground sea here, we play a bayou, and Deathrite Shaman can make a blue. So we have, if we live to next turn, we've got potentially on their turn real trap and free trap up, which would be quite good. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's still hard for them to play a. Does 1 point of damage matter? I really do want to keep them off the delve spells. I got a Force of Will. Pitching Cruise. Alright. I think in that place we do play the second. Deathrite Shaman out. Recycling Street Wraith, alright. Interesting. A little confused. I assume we're dead. I assume we're just going to die here, but I think best draw would be a Moxen. Any of our Moxen would us play Frog while holding up the trap. 6 cards, so I assume they don't have a land or they'd play one. So it's probably Dark Red Doomsday is 2. Then they've got 4 cards in hand. Interesting. Doomsday's a tough deck to play. Really? They're just gonna pass? Interesting. They're playing out a Thassa's Oracle, sure. Just okay. Well, if we play the Grief then. Okay, let's see if this gets forced. Cast. Black, black, black. If you want to force this, they can force this. They're going to daze it. Well, got punished there. Didn't think that deck played daze. Alright, you got me. One of them eating the land next turn to try and keep them on us there, we'd be okay. So they got their C back. They got a Murktide. Alright. Should have more aggressively gone after their graveyard, I suppose. I forgot about that pivot. We're not flying past the Murktide there. We might be one short here if we... Unfortunate. Can't squeak one damage in. Oh, do I want that cradle or do I just want to pitch the cradle? I don't think pitching the cradle does anything, really. We can drain them for 4 here. Yeah, we have to pitch the cradle if we want to be able to hard cast the fight over this. Oh wait, we can't. That was so dumb. Alright, well that was a big punt. We don't actually have another land. Yeah, that was dumb. Alright, well, oh well. You know, they played well. That was us, me being silly. We go to game 3. Alright. You're not sure we need the collector. I think maybe a trophy might actually be not the worst thing in the world. Just to try and respect the their thing a bit there. Can also blow up lands, which is quite good. They do run a basic. It's a basic island, so if they're going for just 3 black, that can keep them off of it. I think this is okay. We will see. Not the biggest Bazaar gamer. If you watch other videos on my channel, I think I only have one other Bazaar deck, so. Alright, let's try and get a scary start here if we can. I guess that counts. I don't think they run Force of Negation. They probably shouldn't have it in against us anyway, so I'm probably just going to go Time Walk, see if we hit a black card. If not, probably just fire off the recall. Alright. So... Did not find a black source. We might be getting forced here. A lot of lag. Let's see what they're working with over there. They don't have a force. Alright, that's another hand. I'm not entirely sure the best way to go about this. I think I like taking the preordain. Rainstorm too. Brainstorm or Dark Ritual? I think it's the Dark Ritual. We got that Yavamai here, so we're just going to do this. They're just firing off that brainstorm. Okay. They have a fetch land here, they can clear their deck. They do. Alright. And they've got the push. So we're in trouble now. Maybe I should have taken some other spells. don't think we want this hollow one, so I will cycle that. They're gonna be able to do one of their delve spells here, so we're probably dead, but we will see. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. I think they just cruise here. That would make sense to me. Really? That doesn't beat me. I don't understand that one. But sure. Okay, that was aggressive. I think they're trying to get to delve here, so I'm just going to take the force of will real quick. We both seem to be lagging. Okay, well I'll be honest, we lucked into that one, but I will take it. Thanks. Next match. Okay, back for another match here, and we got the play. With a Bazaar, this would be an incredible hand. Without a Bazaar, I don't think this is keepable. That's still bad. I think we keep this. Oh boy. This is not a good hand, but I think we do keep this. So, idea is if we can play the frog on turn 2, then we can pitch the Vengevine and the Walla, and then get all of our power in play. If they don't play a fetch land, or if they just kill us on turn 1, that doesn't happen though. So we will see. Okay. So we still can't actually do anything unless we draw a land. And they've got a pretty good start here. Sure. Alright, well now if we draw a land, I feel okay. But land, please. Land one time. That is not a land. Fuck. Let's see. I don't think discarding does anything here. I think we just gotta pass. Yep, we're probably dead. I don't think discarding that does the slightest thing. We have to try and hit a land here. That's actually fine. Don't have a basic. That's fine. So if they hit us with the ghost quarter, it's actually okay. That means we can draw any mana source. Mana, please. Can I do anything tricky here? No. I don't have a basic in here. Okay. So I can make... We can... we can... That Thorn's really hitting us here, because we can't play the Ancestral Recall. Yeah, we just have to pass. We might as well swing for one, I guess. You got a wasteland. Cool. Land. Not my day. Alright. You got something else? Crucible. Okay. I guess I should have just not attacked, but that means we were dead anyway. Yeah. We would have drawn a land at any point in those 4 turns. I think we're okay in this game, but oh well. I think we want some trophies, so I'll put 1 trophy in here. Maybe cut 1 Master of Death for another trophy. You gotta go kind of fast in this matchup. Getting to a higher mana cost is tough, so I think I am gonna go down to 1 monument. A bit unfortunate. Mull to 5. I guess we still had a reasonable chance there, but we would have drawn a land because swung for 4 right away, and we had blockers set up because we would have had the Walla. Sure. Opponent just says what? Vengefine, Master of Death. I think the trophy. Pretty far from casting the trophy. So we're probably dead. That wasn't an amazing turn. If they've got like a strong start here, and they kept 7, so it's a very good chance that this goes badly for us, but we will see. Yeah, that's a lot of mana. That is a problem. Ah, fuck. Yeah, that's not good. Can't cast anything. Fun. Sure. That's blue. So I guess black, green here. Blue, blue, black. All right. Let's see what they do. Yep. They got another artifact. They will be bigger than us. They got another artifact. Alright, well, I'm regretting pitching that trophy now. That seems ill-advised. No, I can't play it because of the null rod. Alright, we just have to pass them. if we can draw... That won't do it. You have to be able to play a creature to block. Right now we cannot do that. That's a problem. I think we're dead here. Okay, well, I think we're just locked out then. We're never going to be able to get 3 mana in play. We would have to hit it literally for 20, right? So they would have to brick for 10 turns or something silly. Yeah, that'll do it. Now they can swing, guaranteed. Hey, they got us. Off to the next round. Okay, we've got our game 1 here against Park. So these two, this match and the next one, are going to be the pre-recorded reviews that I've done normally. So we start out with a 7-card Bazaar hand, which is good. So we got Bazaar, and we can pitch the Master of Death and the Root Walla at least. I think the first bit here we'll go through it slowly. So we got Find, Vengevine, Walla. We can play the Walla, and then as our second creature we can play Grief to trigger the Vengevine. That gets forced. That's okay. We still get our Vengevine, which we can attack with, which is quite good. They got a Frog, strong response from them, but we get our Master of Death back. They got a Spell Bomb. That does probably impact us here because it takes away our Master of Death, but we got a pretty good board presence. And we're building towards that Monument to Endurance there, which is a good way back into this game. play our monument here. And they're just gonna scoop because we can deal damage to them with Deathrite Shaman's ability, taking out one of their instants and sorceries. Well, I guess that's actually tricky because they can exile with frogs. That's not entirely true, but they attack, we can swing back. And when we discard the monument to endurance here, we get to hit them for 3. They're already at 7. Draw a card, get a treasure token. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Alright, so let's go. It's a fun one. Game 2. Alright, so they have Wasteland and Jet, and they know our hand. We don't have a Bazaar, but we do have a turn 1 Frog, and turn 1 Frog is quite good, so that's a keep. They don't kill the Frog, but they do just play their Orcish Bowmaster there. They swords our Frog, that's okay. And we find the Bazaar here. So decide to trophy the orc so we can start drawing cards. In retrospect, I'm not thrilled with this plan. I probably should have tried to jump it. And that pretty much seals it up there. We don't have much going on. To be fair, they don't either, but I guess just randomly losing the Walla because we can make it a 3-3 wasn't a great play either, but I think I'm pretty checked out at this point. And they have the Containment Priest as well. They go for the dig. They already have a Containment Priest in play. So it looks pretty bad for us. I assume they have a draw spell in hand, which is why they offered us that trade. It's just going to keep the orc around, but need to draw like a Hogak, and they don't have a swords or something. Odds are slim. We got our master back. Now we can't bring the Vengevines back, but I make a silly play here. I should have just kept one of the Vengevines, and I could have played it. You can just hard cast it for 4 mana there, and that was a whoopsie, but I think we were dead anyway, so let's go to game 3. Alright, so we've got an interesting hand here in that we've got Ancestral Recall and 1 land. I think that's good enough to keep it. Unfortunately, we get force with their force there, so we would be very soft to a wasteland here. Luckily, we found mana 2, and we could play the frog. The frog gets sourced. We got a Deathrite Shaman, we got another Deathrite Shaman, and we can hard cast this Master of Death soon, which we do. Put a Vengevine into the yard so we can cast 2 creatures. We get the Vengevine back, which would be cool. Tabernacles. So that's the problem. We got to start paying for all of our creatures. Want to keep them around. Yeah. We got a Hogak. If they don't have a Force of Will or a Swords here, that's fine. That Containment Priest does not stop the Hogak. It would stop the second creature bringing back Vengevine, but not the Hogak from hand. So we got a Wasteland there, so we're down to the 2 Moxen that we can use. We can use the Deathray Shaman to get a land to pay for itself temporarily, that's okay. The other Shaman's gonna die. We can attack here though. We're just going to trade instead of having to pay for the priest. They go for the treasure cruise there, and they don't find what they're looking for. So we got that one. Nice win in the here, and let's go to the next match.
Alright, the last round here. We start out with a Bazaar hand. They've got a Lyris. So we go through, draw, and discard. We don't find a lot of action. We've got a Hogak in the graveyard. We could have gone for a more aggressive play here where we pitch the Walla and reanimate the Grief and just try and next turn get the Hogak back. I really want to pitch the Grief to a black card and reanimate it. Because with 1 blue open, 6 cards in hand, it's a good chance to just get countered. They've got a Thundertrap Trainer, which digs them a card. Then they get Merchant Scroll. We take the Force of Will, and then we take the Merchant Scroll. I was debating between the Merchant Scroll and the Thundertrap Trainer, and that lets us bring the Hogak back using the graveyard plus the Grief and the Walla. I thought I needed the fetch land from the Delta, but because of the reanimate, I actually didn't, so I could have held the Delta in my hand if I wanted to, which potentially with this Bazaar activation here is the right play, because we would have had to, don't think it really made a difference, but that lets us pump our Walla here. We've got a turn to try and figure this out. They don't. They got the dig through time. They needed a lot because they had 2 artifacts to turn this on. They played their land drop. So we got there. Let's go to game 2. So they know we're a graveyard deck now, so I took out some of the graveyard cards and I'm planning to try and play more of a non-graveyard game. Took out the Vengevine, took out the Hogak, took out one of the monuments, took out a master. And since we don't have the vines, some of the walls. We do have a Bazaar hand here, it makes it a bit awkward. If we don't find some more action here, that could be a problem. And they've got 2 pieces of Graveyard Hate. We're in a bit of trouble here. You find a hollow one, which is good. And the plan is at some point to try and hard cast this Grief. We do need another Swamp. The Cradle can turn the Bazaar into a land, so we have 4 mana, no double black. I think in retrospect, maybe keeping the second black source over the Yavimaya Cradle probably would have been better. The 4 mana doesn't really do anything for us, so we don't have Vines in the deck right now. We're doing a lot of stuff here. Their hand is just kind of anemic at this point. They've got cards in hand, and they can remove this Master of Death to stop us from engineering with Bazaar. They got a Academy, so they're just outvaluing us here. So I decide for game 3 I want to try and go for a more aggressive start. They've got all the really, we have some value in our deck. But how we're really winning these games is by either fast starts with Disruption, like a Grief and a Mindbreak Trap to stop their crazy starts, or we've got 3 Null Rods we're bringing in a Collector Oof. That's the other way we can really stop them and slow them down here. They play a lot of artifacts. They got a lot of mana in this game, but normally they've got a lot of artifacts. They've got a 4th Orlingus now that they found with the trainer, just not using it. They're using more time than we are, so I'm still playing this game and not conceding, just letting them use their clock and trying to build up a difference in our clocks here. I don't even want to play the Rod. I know we're dead. And this is going to let them do a silly 4th Orlingus, but a less silly 4th Orlingus is still going to kill us. So we're just hiding the information that we have Null Rods here. Is the plan. And that's, we get hit by a million knights there. We're at -11, so. We did lose that one for sure, but they're down to 8 minutes, and they got to play fast here. We got 3 more minutes. Go to game 3. So this was a questionable keep. I did just think whether to mull it. We don't have a Bazaar. We don't have a turn 1 Frog. We don't have a Collector Oof or a Null Rod. We've got Grief, nothing to pitch to it, no Reanimate. I've got stronger starts in this deck for sure. So the plan is that we can play 2 lands, we can play a Frog, you discard Vengevine, and then as the second creature, you discard Wall and play. And that's the second creature that's been played. So it should trigger Vengevine. We have a bit of a problem though, in that it doesn't trigger for me this game, as you will see. I'm not sure if it's bugged or not. But play Frog, discard Vengevine, discard Walla should bring the Vengevine back. They go for the Force of Will. So we do the play where we discard the Vengevine and the Walla, but it's bugged. We don't get our Vengevine back, so we miss out on 4 points of damage, but as you will see here, it doesn't end up mattering because they go pretty crazy. So what we did was we left them with the Snapcaster and the Ancestral, and that could for sure kill us, but we had nothing going on if we didn't Make sure our frog resolved. And the rest of this game is them going off, but our opponent's deck has very, very, very few ways of actually winning the game. They've got that 1/4 Orlingas, which is basically a big fireball, but they do have to find it. They have Time Vault Key, which again is a lock, but doesn't actually win the game. They've got Luris on their sideboard, which again, with the Time Vault Key they find could win the game. They actually have to do all this stuff, and Magic Online you only have so much time, so unlike in paper, you can just play to the auto, sitting there and hoping that your opponent runs out of time, which is what happens here. And yeah, we finished the league 4-1 with a bit of an asterisk there, though, because we won on a timeout on the last round. Okay, so just to recap our league here, we got a nice 4-1 with trying out Monument to what's it called again? Monument to Endurance in our Bazaar League here. So we did lose to the Sphere Shops deck. I think that matchup's a bit tricky. They've got a lot of stuff to stop us. Lots of ways of interacting with Wasteland. I definitely think we're probably an underdog there. But game one, we definitely could have won within a land one of those first couple draws. And then in game two, they just had a stronger start than we did. But we got there against Doomsday and a bunch of Luris decks, so pretty happy with it. Sphere Shops has had a bit of a resurgence recently because it can be favored against some of the Luris control decks. The Luris control is the top deck in the Vintage at the moment, but it's not good against a lot of the other tier 1.5, tier 2 decks. So as well as Doomsday, which is another say tier 1 deck. So it's still not played a tremendous amount, so I think that's okay. But yeah, pretty happy with this league. I think it's a fun deck. I'm not sure what changes I would make. I like the Monument to Endurances. I think going down to 2 would be fine though. I don't think it's bad. I think going down to 2 would be okay. Then you can fit in another Vengevine or another Hogak. I think would be good. I might have maybe. I think the lands are okay because if you're playing a non-Bazaar style hand, you need all these lands. I think most of the rest of the list I'm pretty happy with. Maybe just -1 Monument, maybe -1 Master. I think these two, potentially could be more graveyard hate or more protection. But that's about it. Anyway, happy with the league. I don't play Bazaar too often, but if people are interested and have got an idea, I guess I can certainly play more Bazaar in the future. All right, thanks for tuning in. Bye.